What's happening, people? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Giants Rush. Yes, this looks different than it normally does because I am in Virginia on a training for the whole week. So I'm live from Virginia, actually probably pretty close to where the Commanders play, not too far from the Ravens. I'm in the Virginia hood. So pound to all our Giants fans in the state of Virginia. And I'm kind of in the hotel rooms here. So this is what you got. You got me. This is where we are. Always a pleasure to talk to you folks and talk Giants 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. We are here to talk about what basically yesterday was the easiest way to say it was the least competitive football game I have seen in quite some time. Michael Stewart, the truth will tell you, reminds him of the 70s teams where nothing goes right. Not the offense, not the defense, not the special teams. And he's right. So we're going to bring the guys in. We're going to talk about the Giants losing to the Cowboys, everything going right for the Cowboys, everything going wrong for the Giants. We're going to talk about how non-competitive they are. We're going to talk about Wink. We're going to talk about Kafka. We're going to talk about the injuries, which, I mean, if you're looking for a migraine, just flip on the Giants game, and that will give you one because another 3 guys lost, to injuries, and you have to ask yourself, there's just no possible way that the Giants could be the top of the injury list board, every single year. The joke is it's the turf. But what did we do? We fixed the turf. We still have a litany of injuries. So lots going on there. Spartan Mike is off for the night. Poor Chris Nails went to the game and is on his way home from Dallas. We'll get him early, maybe for the preview show. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Chris will be back. And then we'll talk a little bit about top 10 QBs because we're going to kind of start diving into that too. So let's bring in the boys. Let's bring in Stuart, the truth.
I tell you, I feel like crying, but I laugh. It's so sad what's going on in Giant Land.
It is. It makes you laugh and cry all at the same time. Let's bring on our Texas native, Alex. What's happening down there?
Nothing good. nothing good at all. This sucks, guys.
Yeah,
I hate this.
It does suck. We all hate it, and I'm going to go even far as to say that, and thanks for guys for jumping in the room. I see Mark B. I see Tuto. I see James is in the room. I see Cold. I see a bunch of you guys are coming in now. So thanks for hanging out with us. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's just start off by saying that it's a bad year, but if you heard Michael Strahan said it too. I mean, the team should be competitive at some level because they're NFL players, and the amount of blowouts that we're having, you have to ask yourself, what is missing from the team? Because whether it's an effort thing, a technique thing, there's something just falling off the cliff because they're not competitive in, 6 of 8 games. They're not even competitive And if they're competitive for like a play. It's almost like, hey, we were competitive on that play. We're taking the next 12 off. And you have to ask yourself, why, right? So, Alex, love to start with you. I know you said you had a tough time even getting through the non-commercial condensed version. Why is this team gone from extremely competitive and scrappy to, the dog of the NFL or the doormat? Like, where's the competition? Where did it go?
I mean, the offense doesn't score points. Like, I think last night was like our most competitive, like our most like the second highest or third highest offensive output we've had all season, and it was because we had garbage time points, which is not great. I think at a certain point, like the defense kind of put the team on their back for a little bit, and like on what I would say was maybe our best defensive game of the year, we blew it against the Jets when we needed the defense the most. And like I think at a certain point, like when you're not putting the points on the board, the defense isn't playing as hard. Just you're like, why even go out here if we're not going to score points? If there's nothing to back up the defense, what's the point of even playing the defense? I mean, that's a bad way to look at it, but I think kind of like that you mentally check out after a certain point,
Truth. Is there any pride on this team? I mean, like, look, we've seen some bad years, but nobody is like, I mean, there are 4 guys giving, I think, pretty close to max effort, maybe it's more than 4, but Dexter Lawrence, of course, is number 1. Tibbs has looked like he's trying to, grow his game. And then, of course, Okereke and McFadden are still all over the field. There's nobody balling out on the offensive side. It's either running out of bounds, dropping passes, not missing blocks. The amount of blocks that are missed, I almost think that they're wearing the same colored jersey as the Giants, because I can't quite figure out how they missed this 300-pound dude in front of them. Like help me out here, Truth. Like, where's the pride? Where's the pride?
I don't know. And you pointed out the blocking. Not only do they look like they miss blocks, they don't even sustain blocks. It's like they're just touching, and then they don't even try to sustain a block. It was a total, like I said, we talked off air, Craig. It reminded me of the early 70 Giant teams, late Giant teams that in the 70s, they were pathetic. Offense, defense. They did have some good defensive teams back in those eras. Well, Carson was there late in the 70s and Brad Pelt. But they really, it's just it's a flashback that I don't want to relive. Put it that way.
Look, I'm going to put this this is the thing. Everybody's it's either like you got a bunch of dudes that hate Jones and the Giants, so they're loud and noisy over here, right? And then you got the other side, like the pro people. Oh, everything's going to be okay. I think this show's always been right down the middle. I think we see the flaws and we see the some of the good things of the Giants. But right now, just got to call a spade a spade. There's no pride. Nobody outside those handful of players. And Cold says it right here. And we pop Cold's comment up on here because it's just true. There's no damn heart or pride left on this team. Thank you for saying it, Cold. It's just a fact that they're just going to work and collecting a paycheck. And then that just tells me that they're not the right players. Like, there's bad years, but not even a year ago, they went to the playoffs. And this year, the wheels fell off. I get it. You get it. The fans get it. But to watch them limp through a game with bad tackling, I need to strip every ball. Let's just strip every ball at the expense of making tackles. It's pathetic, right? So, Alex, the bigger question is if there's, as Cole just said, if there's no heart and there's no passion, is this a backdoor way to, I don't want to even say the word because I want to fight dudes over this tanking thing. But like, is this, I don't know, is this management just laying back and letting people roll overs to make sure that Drake May or Penix is available to the Giants? Like, is there anything here that screams the Giants are rolling over?
I mean, unless it was like management up was like, hey, we're gonna tank this season. I always feel like it's hard to like get into like the idea that a coach is even gonna try and tank, because that usually means you're gonna lose your job. I know that the Giants said that they're gonna try and stick with these guys long term, but like you're still coaching in the NFL. There's only 32 of those gigs. It's hard to just be like, let's intentionally go out of our way to lose it. The Giants do have that injury answer that they can you kind of have the excuse of like, well, Jones is gone. We don't even have a backup quarterback. We're not third string quarterback to last season. You kind of have that excuse. And I think that kind of maybe gives you a little bit more leeway, because you're going to be able to be like, it wasn't the coaching. It was that everybody was basically, the roster was basically dead. Our tight end is hurt. Barkley's missed games. We've been switching quarterbacks nonstop because of injuries. I think you can kind of look at it like that, but like at a certain point, like I don't think the coaches are just being like, you know what, let's not make that tackle. I don't that's ever been a part of it. I think it's just, this is everything that went right last season. The opposite is happening this season. Maybe it's just the course correcting itself or what, but I don't know. I hate it.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Like, I've said this 1,000 times. Like, it's a team. People don't tank. If you and Cole is, I see Cole in the comments, same thing. Like, if you don't have the talent, you're just losing games, right? You don't have the talent. You don't really have to like try to lose. It happens all by itself when you don't have the talent. And what this tells you is the experiment of bringing in B-level players as your nucleus does not work, right? Like, hey, we don't need a real number one receiver. We'll just run the table with 7 B- players and see if that works. And we don't need to trade or bring in like the best free agent guard. Let's just run it back with a bunch of C+ linemen. Like, they thought like that savvy move of bringing in a bunch of free agents, right? And having these mid-level players, right? Mid is the word. The team is mid. And when the team is mid, they fail, right? They're just not good enough to compete. It's fine if you have Richie James, right? And it's one guy, but we got 7 mid guys, right? So truth. I know you and I don't believe in tanking, and we probably are leaning more on the fact that the Giants lost to the Cowboys because they were just so overwhelmed with better talent, right?
Yes. I don't want to be. I think Alex touched on it. I don't want to believe that this team is tanking and wanting to lose to get a better draft pick. That infuriates me when I see that on Twitter, and I got a lot of slack today from a few people on that one. But I would say that Shane is trying. I know he's trying. I mean, he signs Mark Gowinski, who was a Pro Bowler with the Colts. And he had a good year on his final year of his contract, so the Giants get him. They go after Evan Neal, who everybody.
Yep, 32 teams.
Right. Every team, their mother, their sister, their brothers, he was a top 10 talent, no doubt. He just hasn't caught up to the speed of the NFL yet. That's my take. Whether it's technique wise or his passion or whatever you need to be a professional football player. I'm certainly not one, so I can't tell you. So I think there's effort, and you mentioned about the players' makeup, Craig, and that's a reflection on Shane. He always talks about culture, getting the right guys to fit the culture. So perhaps he's missed the boat on that. Nobody's perfect, and he's certainly not a perfect GM. I still have faith in him. So this is a very important offseason for the Giants and Shane. It really is, and Dable.
Yeah, and again, I've always said, I'm sure you guys can look up my Twitter comments. Like, I just don't think NFL teams tank, right? Because there's so much riding on tanking. If you go half speed, you get hurt.
You got hurt.
The guy next to you, he needs you to play ball because he's trying to get a contract, right? Guys are trying to make the team. Like, you don't like lay down, you don't shave points, right? You don't not make a tackle, right? Like guys get hurt when you go half speed, right? It's just, it definitely, I think it started with the fact that they didn't have a great offensive line, and that failed Jones, and Jones just started playing tentative, and he got hurt, and nothing against Tyrod, but Tyrod's been hurt every year he's been on the Giants. I think he got knocked out in his first game. Like,
Yeah.
Tyrod's a little.
We had the Saquon quarterback game.
What's that, Alex?
We had the Saquon Wildcat game when he came in right after Jones went out.
Yep.
Right.
And
that was the Titan game, wasn't it? Because Jones stepped out, and then Taylor came in, got hurt, and they had to put Barkley in the Wildcat, and then
I can't remember who it was against, but yeah,
I think it was a Titan game. Maybe I'm wrong.
He got knocked out in like the first 5 minutes of the game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I do again. It's the first time head coach, first time GM. They made some bad mistakes. Like nothing against Tyrod, right? He's fun to watch, but the guy's been out 3 times, right? Like the guy gets hurt. He's not a big dude, right? I know he wants to make plays, and then Jones can't be counted on. The offensive line is bad. So, from an offensive perspective, it just wasn't built correctly. It wasn't built right. The offense still is predicated on pounding the rock with Barkley. That's it. Because when Jones doesn't have Barkley, the offense can't do anything, right? So if they were going to depend on Barkley being the guy, they should have brought in a bunch of really top-tier linemen, whether it was the draft or free agency. Like they had to look at themselves in the mirror and realize we really can't do much without Saquon. We better get him some holes to run through. That's just me. So I think a lot of this has to do with how I think Shane tried to cut a little corners and see if the team could have a bunch of B players get coached up to the next level, and it didn't work out. He won't make that mistake again.
Yeah, and another thing, these are players that Shane brought in via draft, especially that are in their first and second years now, and that's a lot to ask of a player to take on a load and become leaders in the NFL. I mean, it takes guys longer sometimes. So, maybe Shane should have had a little bit of mixture with the free agency, but I understand he was limited with the cap space, so it was a catch-22 with that.
I mean, again, when you're a bad team, truth, you're looking for certain things you need to hit home runs on. You can't hit singles, right? You need to hit home runs. And as much as I someone asked me today, I'm like, look, this isn't about Wan'Dale Robinson, but Wan'Dale Robinson would have been available in the 3rd round. And instead, so we made 2 mistakes by picking Wan'Dale at 2 and Azudu at 3. You know what I mean? Where you could have went out and had a premier player at 2 and still got Wan'Dale at 3. It's, that's just my guess that he would have been there in the 3rd round. He wasn't on a lot of the team's big boards, according to what you look at, what was on their boards post draft. Wan'Dale probably could have still been a Giant in the 3rd round. So he kind of mess up a 2. Because again, we didn't need a part-time slot at number 2, Alex. We didn't in Azudo, I guess so. We need some masters up front. So all right. So Alex, the bigger picture is this: the Giants are bad. They're not tanking because they're bad. So they don't need to tank. They're just the talent's not there. Let's take this into let's slice it offense defense wise. From a defensive perspective, they're on the field a long time, but I'm seeing Wink and Dable they're looking at each other all day long, and Dable's basically saying, "Could you just get 1 3 and out? Can you figure out how to get these guys motivated and make 1 stop a game?" The defense looks overmatched every play. Is this a Wink thing or is this a player thing?
I mean, I think Wink might be saying, could you score 1 time? That's kind of what he's been doing all season long. How many times has the defense, how many times did the defense kind of step up and leave it to the offense? The offense gave absolutely nothing. I don't know. I feel like the secondary has just we were so high on Tay Banks in the beginning of the season, and it's like everything we praised about him, he has just regressed. And I think, again, that's just having a rookie corner. You're going to have those. You're going to get exposed when you're on CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup like he was yesterday. But the secondary just has been almost non-existent at points in time. I mean, we got our linebackers. Finally, the Giants linebackers seem like they're clicking and doing things positively this season. But yeah, I think we missed Leonard for a little bit, and I think that just the secondary not doing anything has largely contributed to what's been going on with the defense.
Mike, don't you, when you watch this game, you just want to be like, wink. Just figure it out. Do something. Do anything. Like, I just feel like it's a track meet, right? As soon as the Giants defense comes on the field, it's a track meet. They couldn't shut down CeeDee Lamb or they couldn't shut down Woody Cole, who's 95 years old.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like every time they threw a ball up, all you saw was the back of McLeod's jersey or the back of Hawkins' jersey. And you just keep saying, like, all right, guys, they're throwing for 500 yards on you. Can you just turn around and look for the ball one time? One time, look back for the ball. Doesn't happen, right? Like, as Alex just alluded to, we were all high on the secondary, and now they're getting guys injured or guys getting exposed. Like, could Wink try something different? And here's the question I have for you, Michael. We don't have Leo anymore, and we're rushing 3. It doesn't work. Like it doesn't work. Try anything different. I don't care if you're at 6, right? But try something different. Like, it just looks the same. Mike, am I crazy? Cannot Wink try something different? Is Wink past his prime?
Well, I don't know about him being past his prime. I mean, I do agree with you. He needs to be more creative. It seems like he gets into a pattern with his defense, and like you said, he rushes only 3 guys. And boy, any quarterback can look much better than they really are if they get that much time. I mean, Dak looked like he looked too comfortable in the pocket, and that's what you don't want. Your opposing quarterback looks so comfortable. I just wish Wink would be, the 2-8. What more they got to lose? Be more aggressive, more blitzes. Get Tibbs, get him in his best position, and Simmons. And if Ojulari can stay healthy, they are rushers. I know you go like that. If he stays healthy, at least this year, let them rush the quarterback and let them go play. Don't sit back and wait for something to happen. Make something happen. And look, I don't expect, I know Alex made a good point on our secondary, but you got 2 rookies back there. They've done a good job, but they're rookies, and they're going to have horrible games against quality receivers. Is a new flash. A lot of guys can't cover CeeDee Lamb and have problems. So I'm not going to give those guys too much negativity because they've done a good job most of the time, but they're rookies. But I agree about Wink. I think sometimes he gets too bland, too vanilla. Doesn't utilize his players the way they should. That I think they should. And I'm not saying I know more than him, but I do focus on defense, and I just think Tibbs is better off the edge than running in the flats, covering a certain area in a zone scheme. I just don't see why he does that too much.
I want to like Wink. I think Wink does some really neat things, but to your point, I think you nailed it. He just gets in a pattern, and it's the same thing over and over, and we're getting torched. There's no reason on God's green earth we should be losing by 30 points for 4 games.
Yeah.
It's just like, it just tells me that in desperation, back against the wall, the defensive coordinator can't dial up anything absurd to break the mold or do something like jailhouse break, right? Give me corner blitzes, give me safety blitzes. Like, it doesn't even matter. But if you rattle Dak Prescott, if you hit Dak Prescott, it starts to force him to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Alex, like, could not wink at all. Alex have just said, we suck. Let's go for it. Because it just looked like the same boring ass defense getting blown up.
It's true.
Like, I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times, Alex, I saw Hawkins, McLeod. I don't even see their faces. I just see the back of their jerseys because they're chasing receivers down the field. Like, do something different.
Yeah, I mean, if we were blitzing and they were getting the ball out and that was why we were seeing the back of those guys' jerseys, I would have been okay with that. But just not having any pressure whatsoever, it's incredible. Like, everything about this game was just incredibly frustrating to watch. And like, the more you try and hone in on one specific thing, the more frustrating it does get, because like every level of the game yesterday was frustrating. There wasn't really, other than maybe if you want our linebackers. I would say that would maybe be the one positive from the game yesterday. But no, I have no idea. I have no idea like what's going on with why are they not getting any pressure whatsoever. Maybe it is being more vanilla, but I think every time that Wink goes all out and blitzes, it's like all he's doing is blitzing. He needs to back it up and play more traditional defense. And then he plays more traditional defense. You're like, well, why isn't he blitzing anymore? It's like you gotta have you gotta be okay with one or the other, but like I feel like we gripe either way, and I'm guilty of that as well. I'm like, do something, Wink, and then okay, well, you can't just blitz all the time. You're getting burned, and it just adds up.
I'm putting cold cum on it because it's funny. Right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what grinds me? You know what grinds me, especially? I'm usually mellow now as I get to my golden age. But when I see us losing by a lot of points and one of our players makes a tackle and they act like they made a saving tackle on the goal line and they're so theatrical about it, that just pisses me off. I can't stand watching it.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, my God, that drives me nuts.
There's no me on the Detroit Lions right now.
No.
That team is playing for each other. They're battling it out. Players that nobody wanted, cast-offs, whatever it is. Like, I still think Dable's the right guy, but I mean, like when you don't have the horses, right? You got to find one thing you're good at and go for it, or you got to expose one thing. And to your point, Truth, was just like Ojulari's basically a waste of time. Because he can't stay healthy. His talent is off the charts. I've never seen a guy bend like him, but. Mm-hmm. We don't have a pass rush. You are literally depending on Dexter Lawrence to stop the run, sack the quarterback, and cause a deflected pass. The poor guy is supposed to do everything, right? Like, Where's Robinson? Where's Nacho making plays? There's no tackles for loss, and we don't have anyone to pin your ears back and just go. If you're losing by 30, dude, I am literally doing everything possible to take Dak Prescott out of the game. I am going to dive at his legs. I'm going to roll. I'm going to jump over. They do nothing. They just end in 5 back in a nickel, and they get burned every time. Like you said, rookie guys aren't going to be able to cover CeeDee Lamb. But, like, there's no effort. It's the same thing. It's like, set him up and go. Set him up and go.
Yeah.
So, which is, Alex, is why I was thinking, like, look, I like Wink. It's broke. Alex, it's broke. What do you do to fix it? And Dable's not going anywhere. He went to the playoffs in year 1. Shane's not going anywhere. He's revamped everything in that system where, the building, likes the direction they're going in. They're going to be here for a minimum of another year. Mara's not making that mistake at the 2-year turnaround thing again. But something has to change. We can't just pretend to get new players and go at it the same way. So I'm going to just ask you point blank, Alex, do you want Wink can ride out the rest of the year. It's fine. But do you want Wink back? Do you think, like, and it might not even be Wink, but Wink doesn't have what he needs to run his system. It's an old school system that works off of DBs. You look at what he did in Baltimore. Who wore the green dot? The safeties wore the green dot, right? He's heavy on on man to man and having a very proficient defensive backs, safeties, corners.
Right.
That's not the Giants.
Right.
Not yet. Not yet.
No,
I mean, you drafted a corner with your first pick here. I think he's obviously like Tay Banks is the future at that position on this team. Like he's getting his guys. You gotta like you have to put the guys in place. And I'm like, this is gonna sound like an absolute insane take, I feel like, but like just hear me out. Remember when the 49ers, when Shanahan came in, he's installing this system, and like they just had injury after injury after injury, and there were a couple of seasons the 49ers were just not good because everybody was injured. He still was installing his system. It didn't click just yet, but eventually you got the 49ers that we have right now. I'm not saying we're going to be what 49ers are, but I think that Dable and Wink, and then we're still sort of installing this system. We got to see sort of what could work with, as like we were kind of experimenting with what we were going to do with Daniel Jones. I think we kind of catered it more towards Daniel Jones this season. Daniel Jones got hurt and then also wasn't able to step up to the plate when we needed him to. So I think that it is just kind of having a system installed. Like you need to, like, as bad as it sounds like, I feel like they need to be more consistent with what they're doing and just stick to the plan. And like this season, we've lost this season. This season, we're going to look back at and be like, that sucked. But hopefully we're looking back at that when we're like, right, but we had to go through that to get to where we are now. I believe in Dable. I believe in Wink, and I think they're going to figure it out. I just think you got to get those places there. You got to get those. You got to get the playmakers there. You got to make it work.
It's funny because I am like so lock and step right now with cold. I just think that like the system's antiquated, man. It doesn't adjust at all. It doesn't look, what do we not have? We do not have a secondary. We do not have a pass rush. This literally, our defense is depending on 4 guys doing something right now. And that's Tibbs, Dexter, Okereke, and McFadden. The rest of them are just kind of making it up as they go along. Like you hope they make plays. Like there's just like, so you've got to adjust. I don't got great safeties. They don't like to tackle. You know what I mean? Or you know what? Maybe I bring them down in the box and just do a series. Try it out. God forbid, try it out where you blitz 4 plays in a row. Bring a safety, bring the corner up in the box. Like what they're doing is not working. And I'm just wondering if it's too antiquated, that he doesn't have the ability. He doesn't have the ability to change what needs to be changed. And we're stuck in this rushing 3 with barely any pass rush and a broken down defensive backfield. Like, you know, there's that old thing when Jim Fossil's team lost a bunch of games and he just flipped out and said, I'm going for it. The quote is, I'm pushing all my chips to the center of the table. You can bet on me. And it's like, our guys don't do that. Wink's not going, I've had enough. We're just blitzing all day long and we're taking quarterbacks out. That's all I want to hear. I want Wink to say, I'm blitzing 80% of the times because we're losing by 40. Who cares if we lose by 50? But quarterbacks, beware, we're taking the rest of you out. That's what I want to hear today. Right now, I want to hear
Then you
Wink
get Bounty Gate on your hand again.
What's that?
It'd be like a whole Bounty Gate situation if you said you were specifically trying to take out quarterbacks.
Yeah, 100%. I'm being slightly
maybe keep that in house. So,
yeah. We'll keep that. We'll keep hear that on Giants Rush. But that's what I want. That's what I want.
Speaking.
Yeah, I mean, look, and Alex is 100% right. We're not looking to cause any more controversy, which we're going to get to in a second. But truth, I'm just making the point that like from now on, when you lose, I mean, I'm sure, you know, Mark's in the room. What's up, Jake? Hey, Mark. We're losing games by 25, 35, 45. Like, what do you have to lose? Just go hit the quarterback. Because here's the thing. What was the score at halftime? Anybody quick enough to do that?
28-0, was it?
Yeah, 28-0.
All right. So at 28-0, you're already lost. It's next to impossible to come back. 28-0. So why don't I just take Dak Prescott out of the game a little earlier by making him uncomfortable? Why don't we knock him to the ground a bunch of times? We're losing 28-0, right? And like what we're gonna do, we're gonna try to stop them in our defense, dude. Send them all, hit Dak a bunch of times. The 6th time that Dak Prescott get hit, he goes in the tank, and then you know what you do? You give your defense a motivation for the next week. Like, we made plays, bang. We knocked around that QB, bang. You know, we're doing our job. Instead, everybody's getting toasted. Nobody's doing anything. I'm telling you, Wink's defense is antiquated. Wink can't make any adjustments. Let's talk offense. Alex, tell me about Kafka in this pathetic offense. Is he basically asleep at the wheel? Do we move him back to quarterback coach? What do we do with Mike Kafka?
It's really hard to evaluate a guy that's going with a 3rd-string quarterback. I thought that there were honestly some plays that were designed right, but Tommy DeVito is a nice guy, I'm sure. Nice guy, but like not your NFL quarterback. You don't want him starting an NFL game because he's just a nice guy.
He's Tommy DeVito.
And he wasn't making correct. He wasn't making reads. There were several times where I felt like there were a couple of times that I felt like he could have checked it down to Saquon and maybe made something out of nothing. And he just wasn't making the correct reads in certain instances. Again, you can't really hold too much against him. Like there were sometimes he did take chances. They didn't always go right. And I don't know. Like it's hard to say that falls on him. There's definitely been some question marks throughout the season, but I think a lot of times like it's a long year and you can kind of figure it out as it goes. And Kafka did some stuff last year that I think we could have built off of. But like, this is just a big question mark with him to me. I mean, you just have had so much turmoil at the quarterback position. It's hard to say that like anything he was scheming up was the reason that this offense was not successful.
Truth. Get an interception. You're on a 4-yard line. You could do anything but run up the middle. You can do anything you want because we just had a turnover and we're on the 4-yard line?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Truth. You can do anything you want. You can roll it out, throw it to Bellinger. You can throw it Hodgins in the corner. You can run a sweep pass with get under center and run a sweep pass with Wandell. We can run a reverse. We can do anything but run up the middle, and that's what we do.
Yeah, and to the guy that everyone's expecting the ball, get the ball.
Freak, yeah. Come on.
Let me tell you how pathetic it is. When they got that ball, I knew they were going to score a touchdown. That's how bad. I figured a field goal. Well, here we go, another field goal. You know, but to get into the point about coaching, Kafka, and all those guys, I cannot see that whole coaching staff coming back this year. Someone will not be there. At least one person will not be there. There's no way.
We could have kicked the field goal and had a little momentum. We go for it on 4th down. We go up we get an interception. We go up the middle. Like, we can't block. We don't open up holes. Everyone knows the only offensive player we have wears number 2 and 6. Everyone knows he's going to get the ball. I watch these other teams. I mean, the guy Dobbs gets traded from Arizona to Minnesota. He don't know the playbook. He don't know his teammates' names. He might not even know what state he's in. But they bring in an astronaut. This cat is an astronaut. Okay,
it's amazing what he did. 2 wins. It's amazing.
And he goes out there and he throws the ball. Are we saying we couldn't throw the cager pass? We couldn't do that 7 times. We couldn't do that at the end zone. Like, all of it sucks. All of it sucks. There's nobody taking a chance. Nobody is just now. They threw the ball deep 2 times, and like you can see where Hyatt is not polished enough to get that ball. He's over like every ball that's not perfect. Hyatt can't catch it. If it's too far out of bounds, he's out of bounds. If it's a little behind him, he doesn't have body control. That's going to come in time. We know he's going to be a good player, but we don't try anything. We don't run a reverse, a jet sweep. We don't run screen passes down the line. Luke, can you guys both remember? Eli would take the ball. Plaxico would be, or Toomer would be all the way down the line of scrimmage. They would take one step back. Eli would throw the ball down the line. Wide receiver screen, dude.
Did that with Shockey too a lot, remember?
Yeah, but Shockey was a little bit different because that was a young Eli, and Shockey would just yell at Eli, and Eli would cry, and then he would throw the ball to Shockey. But yes, I'm just saying, like, we don't do shit. We don't do anything. Like, I'm like at the point now, as Alex alluded to before, I don't care. Run a Wildcat. I don't care what you do. But those guys don't block, can't block. They don't have to do anything. So what are we doing? What did we think was going to happen on a 4-yard line and running up the middle? Did something change between 3rd down and 4th down where they went, hey, this is where we move the ball 2 yards.
We figured it out.
Yeah, so for me, Kafka's got to go. Wink's got to go. McGahee's got to go. Bobby Johnson's got to go.
That could very well happen. Very well happen.
So the Giants lose to the Cowboys second time. I think it was something like
89-17 total.
Thank you. 87-17. Thank you very much. That's exactly. You read my mind, Mike. Don't do that too often. But all right. So Alex, a couple years ago, the quick crib notes is there was a tight end for the Giants. His name will remain nameless. He got hurt. He did not like how it was handled and kind of cost him his career. Okay. He wasn't a top end tight end. He was a workhorse type of lunch pail guy, got injured, and whatever the Giants did or did not do caused him to basically blow it up, right, on Twitter about his care. CBA, it's changed a lot of stuff. You know, it just feels that the Giants, Alex, lead the league in injuries every year. And I'm watching Flott and Tay Banks sitting out, like, just jibber jabbering about Jeopardy. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, you know, I got to throw it to you. Why are the Giants still lead the league in injuries? We lost 3 of our starters this week on defense and 3 last week. Like, what's going on?
Maybe they should like do yoga. I feel like that's supposed to be good for your joints and your muscles, right? That's what they say. So they should increase the amount of yoga the players do. Those resistance bands, they should definitely invest in those because I think that strengthens you up a little bit too. Honestly, I have no idea. I do not know how you just prevent injuries other than bringing people that are not going to get injured. And I don't know how you can tell that someone won't get injured without testing it. But that'd be bringing more people that don't get injured. Clone Eli Manning and just make him play all the positions.
Well, we have the hybrid in there because he wasn't very fast. So 9 out of those 11 positions would not be played very effectively.
But never injured.
No. And my thing is like the CBA, there's a lot of stuff in the CBA that doesn't allow teams to do what they used to do. But Saquon Barkley twisted his ankle. He went over, got taped up, and went back in the game. But Tay Banks and Tibbs and who else went down yesterday? Was it Hawkins that went down? Like,
might have been. Wasn't Tibbs a concussion? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's what they said.
If head injury, like you can't really. Now they have that independent.
That's different.
Doctor now, so it's like you're gonna just checked out at that point.
I just feel, well, again, I don't know this for sure, but no team in the NFL is having the same issues that the Giants do over this 10-year period of time. All I want to know is, are we shutting our guys down too fast? I'm all cool. I'm all, kumbaya with player safety. I get it, right? I'm just wondering, like, why is it the Giants every year that are a top 5, top 3, top team with injuries every year? Is it a preseason thing where guys don't hit and play like in reps? Saquon Barkley didn't take 1 rep in the preseason. So is it a rep thing? Is it a overuse thing or an underuse thing? I mean, Alex, these guys get hurt. Like, it's not like one guy gets hurt. They're like this. It's like someone goes, you, and you're gonna get hurt. You got to sit down.
You know what? I think we need to understand and how each team's conditioning programs are. I don't know how the Giants run their conditioning program. You know, you would think that would play a big part in these guys staying healthy and on the field, right? I mean, if you know anything about the conditioning program, I don't. So,
yeah, I mean, you know, they have their requirements when they're supposed to do, you know, when they're supposed to lift, and they got requirements on film, and they hand out iPads, and you know, everything they do is tracked, right? Everything they do is tracked. So I don't think it's what they do. I think is the concept of this program sufficient in 2023, right? I'm sure all the lifting they do and all the stretching they do, but like Alex said, maybe they need to be more limber. Maybe yoga needs to be part of the process.
yes,
or you know, or maybe
Cold
it's
plunges.
Guys. Yes, lots
That's
of
hot
downward. A lot of downward dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we're simplifying it. We're dumbing it down, right? I think the overall arching point is something's missing with the Giants, because you can't lead the league in injuries for 10 years. I mean, there's something, again, preseason snaps. Are they stretched out and limber enough, or do we shut them down too fast? Maybe people are hurt and could play, but because they have an injury, we just shut them down. Like, I don't know. I'm grasping for straws, but you know, there's an issue if we can't field the team. And between Adoree Jackson, Tade Banks, Hawkins, and there's another one I'm drawing a blank on right now that got hurt. But you're losing half the defense. Mm-hmm. So this injury thing is definitely an eye opener. I mean, Ronnie Barnes is a smart guy.
I think I might research that and see around the league what the average is for all the players. Just check it out.
Yeah, look, Ronnie Barnes is a super smart guy. Knows what he's talking about. I'm just wondering, like I said, it could be a CBA thing, right? That doesn't allow them to do something. But somewhere with the Giants, and they're not alone. There are a couple other teams that are in there. But there's something not working. Like, I don't know what it is, whether it's the protocol, whether it's the tent. Like, just, you saw, what's his name, Jamal Adams, flipping out 3 weeks ago when they shut him down for a concussion, right?
Yeah.
So maybe the players don't have a voice. Maybe the players like, I'm fine, I can play, and they override that and they go, nope, you're done. And then he sits down. So maybe it's the fact they took the power away from the player or the voice of the player. I don't know. All right. Well, look, we're getting close to wrapping this thing up. Let's, Giants lose. They've got Eagles twice coming up, Commanders coming up. They got Green Bay coming up. They got the Patriots coming up, and there's a bye week in there, which is coming up here quickly. Guys, I wanted to ask you if you want the Giants to draft a quarterback. Alex, go.
I feel like they have to now. So, yeah. And if we're a top 5 draft pick, I think you got to. If we went out, I'm going to say no. But if I don't see that happening in any possible scenario, so I'm going to say yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
No, there was a moment, but no.
A moment.
I tried to convince myself it's not worth it.
Yeah. I dig that. That is very accurate, my friend. And it was just funny how you said it, because it was like you're trying to convince yourself. I'm just saying. Hang on a minute here. I'm looking for looking for. See if I can. All right, I guess I can't. I was looking for a comment here that I had. Truth. Do you want a quarterback or you don't?
Well, I'm a realistic, and when you have Daniel Jones having neck and now the knee injury, I think they need to definitely consider it, especially if the right quarterback is there for them. Whatever they end up, I don't know where they're going to end up. They could end up first, second, or third pick, or the fourth pick. It all depends. But it has to be the right quarterback, and of course, there's no guarantee with that. There are a few quarterbacks I do like, some I don't like. I'll get into that more as the year unfolds, but I think they do need to bring in the quarterback, let him develop. Remember, Jones will be here next year, guys. Any fans who think they're going to trade him, that's not happening. He's going to be here, and I don't know when he'll come back from his knee injury. I don't know the timeline with that. Craig, you might know more than I do about that stuff.
That's just, ACL is on the light side. It's 10 months.
10 months.
In that 10 months, you're never really 100%. There are some freaky guys like Wandell came back pretty quick, right?
Right.
But majority guys is 10 months from a clearing of you to play, and these guys don't ever feel 100%.
Right.
For 16 to 20 months, right?
Yeah.
So
I think they need to get a quarterback, and they need to get a good backup quarterback with the thought of Jones not being ready, maybe coming back in late September, October. Like you said, Craig, they got to have a good backup quarterback to make the transition a little more smoother and give the Giants a chance if they get another injury to their quarterback. I mean, that's one thing they made a mistake on this year.
Yeah, it's freaking painful. I'm just like, you know what, guys? Nothing against Tyrod, but it's an older guy, he's a smaller guy. Did we really think that was going to work? Like, they should have had a good backup quarterback in place a while ago. Okay. The question, though, Mike, is do you want the quarterback or do you not?
Do I want? Listen. Look. There's no surprise. I'm a Daniel Jones supporter, and I know he had a bad year and injuries, of course, but this season wasn't totally his fault. But you can't go into next year without a backup plan. And now, whether they draft a quarterback in round 1 or round 2, I don't know. It all depends on who they like and how the prospects fall in the draft. But do I want a quarterback? I think they need to consider it. Yes.
Okay. So, which we'll wrap it up with this. There are about 10 quarterbacks that look like they could get drafted in the first 2 rounds, maybe 3. Alex, anyone that you have, because Bryce Young is struggling where Stroud is crushing it, right? Richardson gets hurt. I can't remember if he was a shoulder or a knee. It was a shoulder, I think.
Shoulder.
I think it was a shoulder, yeah.
Yeah. So,
He didn't look good before that, though.
Yeah, good games. Yeah.
He had lack of experience, right? He had only started 1 year. So my big thing for him is, stay in school, man. You'll come out as a first round pick. You'll have more of experience, but he comes out, does well, gets hurt. Jones is going to be here, as Mike alluded to. What quarterbacks do you want? You don't have to go into the analysis of each one, but is there anyone out there that you see that you're like, hey, I just think this guy got it?
I don't know why. Oh, yes. Will you start, Mr.
Yeah, go ahead, Alex. No, Alex, go ahead.
No, I don't know why. I just don't buy Drake May. If Daniel Jones is going to be a North Carolina or Duke quarterback that doesn't work out, I don't think we should go back into the North Carolina Duke pool. I think we should go the opposite direction. That Caleb Williams is the easy answer on that. But I really like Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels is something special, and I think that it's going to have to take some loan curve for him. But I think he could be an absolute stud in the NFL.
Interesting take there.
Probably, but I think you could maybe not get him in the first round. I think he could also not be a first-round quarterback.
Who I missed it. Who did you say?
Daniels.
Daniels as like a wild card.
Interesting.
From LSU.
Yeah. So how about you, Truth? You got your. I mean, it's inevitable that they're going to need somebody.
Well, I like Daniels as well. I do like him, and I think he will be a first-round pick. I think his stock has risen over the last few weeks, and once he gets in the combine and shows those measurables, he's gonna shoot up the boards. I think he will. I also like Penix. I like that kid. A little older, like a couple of guys are. I do like him. I like he's got a lot of moxie, if that's the right word. He's a gamer. I like him. He's tough. He stays in the pocket. I watch a lot of games, so it looks like he makes good decisions when he throws the ball. And he's got some zip on the ball, so that's what you like. There's some guys I'm not fond of, but I'll get into that more when we do our draft and I do more evaluations on more scouting.
Okay. Yeah, and we've been talking about doing a quarterback show, or with these top quarterbacks. There's about 10 of them that, have some opportunity to be drafted this year, 2024. So we're going to check it out. If you are a fan or let's say a specialist on a certain quarterback, hit me up on DM. I got Mark Smooth is all about Drake May. And look, I don't watch any UNC football. I just don't, you know what I mean? So I mean, it looks like he could play, but I just don't know anything about UNC football, right?
Right.
So we're gonna bring Mark on to help, shed some light. And then a couple of days ago, I had someone tell me that, he's done a lot on Bo Nix. And so if you are, for any reason, LSU guy, you're a Georgia guy with, you want to talk about their QB, again, I mean, I tell you, I've got my list of quarterbacks is Drake May, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Jaden Daniels, Jackson Dart, Carson Beck, Dylan Gabriels, and Sanders Kid. That's kind of like the guys that all have some opportunity. I don't know which one's going to be the best for the Giants. Penix is by far the most talented, the quarterback from Washington. He's just the most talented all the way around, throwing the ball, reading defenses. He's not like running around in circles, and painting his nails and all sorts of crazy. Penix can just flat out ball. His issue is going to be that he's been in the league 6 years with two ACL injuries, separated shoulder, and a major concussion. That's going to hurt him, right? But overall, I mean, the dude balls like he just does, right? It's impressive what he can do. Caleb Williams is going to be a lot of fan favorites because, to me, he looks like Johnny Manziel. And for all you folks that don't know about Johnny Manziel or you don't want him being compared to Johnny Manziel in 2 years threw for 7,800 yards and 68 touchdowns. The dude balled in college. He just did, but by holding on to the ball too long, he missed a lot of reads, missed a lot of throws. He winds up scrambling and running around and making these backyard plays.
He also didn't watch any film ever.
What's that?
Yeah, and you got to be concerned about his record against good teams too. You got to take that to note.
Yeah, like I said, he just wasn't a pro QB, right? All the things that made him electric in college didn't make him a good pro quarterback. I have a little bit of worry about that with Caleb Williams, and that he holds the ball too long, misses a lot of reads, holding the ball, and then he's forced to make those just plain filthy moves he makes in the backfield. Like it's crazy what that cat could do. I just don't know if that's a guy you want throwing the ball 30 times. He's also, I think, lost the last 4 out of 5 games, so that's a little bit like unnerving. I don't know anything about Bo Nix either. I just know he's been around for a long time. Like, I don't know. Is he the guy or not? We're going to have to dive into that. But, again, you guys all know I'm a Jackson Dart guy from Ole Miss. They got wrecked by Georgia this week, and he got hurt. But still made a lot of good throws, a lot of good runs. Jackson Dart actually went head-to-head with Daniels at LSU and beat him right? Ole Miss beat. Yeah, right. Ole Miss beat LSU and Auburn. So I think Jackson Dart's a little bit of a sleeper. But Penix.
J.J. McCarthy's another one could be a sleeper, even though he plays on a good team.
So McCarthy's, you talk about J.J. McCarthy from Michigan?
Yeah, he doesn't have the numbers, but that's not how Michigan plays their offense. So he could
and I don't necessarily, Mike, want to call him a sleeper, right? It's just like he doesn't get the headlines, right? Because he's got all the talent. Michigan doesn't actually ask him to do a lot. Alex, you got a guy like, I know Caleb Williams might be the front runner or May. Is there a guy that you think fits Dable's system more than others? Anyone out there you're like, oh, that guy?
Not anybody specifically, honestly. Like, I mean, if you would try, who's the most like Josh Allen? Because then I would say that might fit Dable's system, just because he built a system around Josh Allen in Buffalo. But I don't know. I think Caleb Williams would fit that system well. I know there's some questions, but I also think that USC is not very good defensively, and I don't think that a lot of their losses are on him. But I don't know. I don't feel like we're gonna have the number one pick, and he's gonna go 1-1. So I don't feel like Caleb Williams is even really in the question at this point.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's also so early to figure out what the draft order is going to be, at least the top 10. Right now, it could be a lot of different ways.
One thing is consistent that we do know, Mike Stewart, is that the New York Giants suck in 2023.
They do.
We do have a bye week coming up, folks. We do have a Giants player interview, a current player lined up. I think you guys will be excited. I hope you guys will tune in. Tell your friends, right? Just, hey, support the Rush guys, what we're doing. You guys have always been great. Tell a friend to tell a friend. That always helps us out. If you're looking for new gear, store is open and ready to rock. Michael Stewart's always putting pieces up there. Wednesday, we're going to do the preview show, I'm pretty sure, this coming week with probably be Spartan, Mike, and Chris. Interview coming up, gear. I think that's all I got for now. Giants were just overmatched at the end of the day against Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys are one of the top 5 teams in the NFL. I didn't think it would be as bad as it was. I was kind of shocked. Alex, where did you watch the game? I was wondering if maybe, you jumped in the car and took the trek. How long? What's it, 3 hours?
About 3 hours, yeah. No, I was when I was initially like in the beginning, like, oh hell yeah, I'll go to Dallas, and no, I did not want to go to that one.
I don't blame you, man.
Hypocrite.
I don't blame you. Well, look, thank you guys. Again, live from Virginia, Herdon, Virginia. So don't mind the background here. It's my hotel room. And I'll be here slugging it out for a couple days, enjoying not the South like Stewart over there, but I'm down here in Virginia. So props to all the Virginia Giants fans. Guys, we're gonna get at it on Monday. I don't know what the future holds, but we're here. We hope you guys will support us, because Spartan says, I don't know if I could keep doing this. They just suck so bad. Last year we had a good year last year. So we just gotta hope that we can get through this year and then figure out where they carve this money out. Because there's a good 12 players, guys. They're like, we need to make hard decisions. And I'll put a bow on it with this one. We tend to like certain players, and we just think that they can do the job. And then when you look at these top tier teams, they don't have as many B players. And I wrote this today. I took some crap for it, and then some people applauded me. But McLeod, Holmes, Hawkins, Ward, McKinney, Bredesen, Tyrod, Breida, Robinson, DeVito, McCain, Campbell, Shepard, like those guys can't come back.
No. I got a few others too.
Yeah, I just was saying the guys that jump out at me. So there's going to be a massive roster turnover. We just have to hope that they hit on some draft picks. Like, they find the next Quentin Nelson, right? Or maybe we just freak everybody out and we get Marvin Harrison, and I don't know, and Jones comes back and he's the guy. I don't know. Because anybody they draft in the second or third round to play QB, I don't know, Alex, when's the last time a second round, third round QB ever did anything? It's rare.
Yeah, it's been not Desmond Ritter.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, Prescott.
Yeah. But all these recent guys, right? The Herberts, the Burrows, the Josh Allens, the Hurts. These guys are all first round picks, second round picks. So I don't think the Giants
Hurts is second round, right?
You know what? Get out.
Second.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, we may get in a quarterback, but if you draft a quarterback in the third or fourth round, I wouldn't expect them to be, Brock Purdy. That's like lightning in a bottle, I think. So, in any case, thanks for watching another episode of Giants Rush. We'll be here on Monday to either cry or just complain with us as we normally do. Make sure you're following Alex. Make sure you're following Truth. Make sure you're following the rest of the team, Chris, Spartan. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Sorry we don't got a whole lot to dive into because there's not a lot of good things happening right now in Giant Land.
Nope.
I think, honestly, I want Leo to be here. The only thing I can tell you is we got a second-round pick, and he could literally come back to the team next year. He could just be a rental, right? Could just be a rental for this year. Leo could, they could come, bring him back on a cheaper deal. And, you can still have those two guys together. We're better with Leo than without Leo. That's just a fact. So whether you like his contract or not, right? But I'm sure he would take less money to come back, and we got a second-round pick out of it. So, it's on Seattle to re-sign him. So peace out. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. And, Giants Rush 52 weeks a year, good or bad. Yeah. A lot more bad than good. We're here. So peace out, guys. And if I can get the button over here, I'm turning you guys off. We're out.
Later, boys.